Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics. So, here I am, waiting for me little podcast buddy. Where are you, Sam? Come on, matey.
I'm here,
I'm
mate.
excited.
I was just getting the necessary. Cheers. Good to see you. Don't worry, listeners, viewers, those tuning into Drewling Samantics. It's not just Drew on his own. I'm back. I'm here. We are complete.
Well, you say that, Sam. I mean, here we are, the two of us, episode 2, but we're not quite complete, are we? I mean, you know what it is.
What's that?
It's a guest week, mate. It's a guest week, isn't it? Eh?
I see what you mean. Yeah, no, absolutely. You are correct. Normally, 2 is enough, but today and every fortnight ongoing, 3 is the correct number, or possibly more if we have more than one.
Possibly more.
Not that I'm hinting at anything. But yeah, no, do you know what, mate? Genuinely, I've been really looking forward to this because obviously we've been off the air or not releasing episodes for quite a while. Came back with a bang last week. It was great to be back.
Yep.
But as much as I love doing podcasting with you, equally enjoy having a guest on. And this week, we've managed to do it again. We've got someone who sort of works in a slightly different area that we haven't touched on before.
It's true. Actually, that's very true, Sam. Well spotted. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, a very well-versed and versatile person. He's done lots of different bits, but his main gig, or certainly the thing that he's probably best known for, certainly in this country and in Europe, I would say, is not a job or vocation that we've actually really gone into before on Drewling Samantics.
Not in the amount of depth that I believe this gentleman might take us. No, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah. So is there a reason why we're just sitting here waiting, or is he? Oh no, we're all right. No, he's here.
He's here. Yeah, he's just popped up now. So rather than waiting, let's bring him in. Let's talk about something different, something new, something that we've not really approached on Drewling Samantics before, but we'll wait for him to explain exactly what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your glasses and welcome the wonderful Mr. Allan Turner-Ward. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone joining Drewling Samantics right now, here he is. Mr. Allan Turner-Ward is in the house. How the devil are you, sir?
Very good, and how are you?
Oh, wow. All the better for having you join us. Our first guest of 2024, our first guest of season 10. Yeah, can you believe it?
Yes!
The problem is, though, Alan, how are we possibly going to follow having you on? I mean, we'll have to write it off. This will be it.
I think that's last show, isn't it?
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly. But
well, I've been talking with Drew, so we're going out. We're doing a thing called ATW and Drew. It's quite good.
I'm done.
It's going to work. I think it's got legs. What do you reckon, Drew?
I've been written up.
It'll have to have, because I've only got little legs, mate. So it's gonna,
Oh, I thought you'd already told him. I thought you'd already told.
No, that was on the lowdown. But you're certainly not. I mean, Mr. Allan Turner-Ward is certainly not on the lowdown. There's nothing low down on the scale with you, sir. It's a joy to have you on, as we said. First guest of season 10. We're in double figures. No one thought we'd get there. But tell us a little bit about yourself. A little introduction to all our wonderful fans out there. Mr. Allan Turner-Ward, it is over to you. Who are you?
My name is Allan Turner-Ward, and I'm a DJ, entertainer, and producer.
Brilliant. That's probably the most succinct we've ever had, and that's Mr. Ward. Goodbye. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Cheers.
But no. So as you say, the main things that perhaps you are known for are your DJing and music production, but that is merely touching the surface. But can you give us a bit more info about how that actually started? So obviously, Drew and I have done our research. We are always well prepared as interview hosts. But that doesn't mean to say that, as Drew said, all our lovely fans, followers, people that tune into us, they may not know quite so much, although a lot of them will think that's a very familiar face and a very familiar name because of a certain smallish TV show, which we'll delve into in a little bit. But before we get to that perhaps main event for the British public,
Yeah.
did the whole DJing thing start for you, and the music, your love of music, where did it come from initially?
I don't think I've ever really. I mean, it's love of entertainment, I'd say, not really necessarily just love of music, but it's love of the whole thing, really. But I was obsessed with music from being a really young kid. I never ever wasn't obsessed with music. It was my only ever interest. Music and TV, I think. And yeah, in my report cards, it was always Allan only talks about entertainment. Allan, it's pretty much the same as all my ex-fiancés will tell you as well, to be honest with you. Allan only talks about himself and entertainment. My gosh, yeah.
But it's that mixture, isn't it? It's that mixture of because you're not just a DJ. You don't just sit there and and talk and chat. You infuse what your DJ with your personality. I mean, that's it goes beyond just which took you on to that. Which took you on this site, which took you to Britain's Got Talent. I mean, your music production is very much born out of your personality. Would you agree with that?
Do you know what's interesting? Now, you're going to find this hard to believe, but I was actually quite shy when I was like 12 years old, and I was sent to this strange boarding school for kids that were a bit naughty, as it were. But most of the kids at the school were very urban,
right.
Quite East London and areas like that. So, and that was the one year when I was very shy, and I just watched. I watched all this, and I was obsessed with a group called New Edition and New Kids on the Block, two groups, but New Kids on the Block and Bobby Brown, basically. I was just obsessed with them when I was a teenager. And so when I was 14, I was putting groups together, but I wasn't a very good singer. So I rapped. And so, when I first saw, like, I suppose, Fresh Prince, Naughty by Nature, Kid and Play, I don't know whether you remember them, but then especially Vanilla Ice and Hammer and people like that. And New Kids, I suddenly realised, I can be a pop star and not be able to sing. This is cool. You can actually do this and not be able to sing. But I wasn't really aware of the entertainment personality thing. But at that point, what I used to do is I used to put boy groups together. So dance was my first love. And I was far too lazy to learn. I do play a bit of piano and I play a little bit of guitar, but really not good enough to play in front of someone. But I suppose I did that, and then I was playing in church halls to start with when I was like 14 and so forth, putting these groups together. And then by the time I was 17, 18, I was getting record deals. So I'd hustle my way into London. And so I got a sort of production deal with a guy called Nicky Graham at one point. And he, nothing happened, but it was amazing to be around it. We were in Parsons Green and we're there with, Let Loose. Do you remember Let Loose? And PJ and Duncan and Anton Deck, obviously, and who have gone on to be megastars in England. But it was amazing to be around all that. But at the time, I remember thinking, I want to be further. But I was quite angry. I was actually quite an angry teenager. I didn't realise until later that the personality thing, where that came from, because I had an experience in a church, and I don't want to throw religion out to you guys or anything like that, but I had an experience in a church when I was like about 20. And all I really wanted to be in at that point was the Backstreet Boys or Boyzone. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted. I had this proper thing happen to me in a church where I heard, no, you're not going to be. But I knew I was going to be in entertainment, but it was suddenly all I saw at that point in my life was to become a pop star. And weirdly enough, I still had a number one record in Germany like 3 years later, but I wasn't a pop star. It was the song I produced that did well. I remember thinking I was a pop star, but I really, really, really wasn't at that point. So I was, at the age of 20, I moved to Germany and joined a band, but then I got a job working for Walt Disney in America at the Epcot Center. And I was still pursuing the music thing because down the road was a guy called Lou Pearlman and Johnny Wright who put together the Backstreet Boys. Yeah. And suddenly I've managed to hustle. I mean, one gig I had when I was younger that I was really good at, and I didn't realize I was good at when you look at yourself as a second person. I was good at hustling. I was good at just getting myself through doors, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And but nothing. Look, nothing really ever. I had a record then with them, and it didn't happen. But I mean, I was around the biggest and the best in the pop industry at that time. So we got Disney there, and we've got all the guys from NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, O-Town, Mandy Moore, and I'm doing a show with them over at House of Blues. But then I had to come back to England because of my visa, and then I managed to get a record deal in Germany with my song "Shake the Knees." But a lot of my songs prior, and this is a good point you just made, Drew and Sam. I don't know which one of you did, but I'm just going to call you Drew and Sam. But I think it was you. No, it was you, Drew, because you said that the entertainment thing comes through in the songs. All my songs prior to that were really serious. I was doing serious rap tunes, which is pathetic for a middle-class kid from Bournemouth. But that's what I was doing. And then but that Shake the Knees song was just an 8-minute idea I had with a vinyl and just kind of looped it. But I wasn't even a DJ at this point. I was just doing music and entertainment. And then I got a job working with, like I said, going to Disney was phenomenal, because at Disney, it actually wasn't that vital, even though they were so amazing, the Lou Pearlman guys and all there down the road. Being at Disney was the thing that really did it, because I got to use my personality, and suddenly I realized, oh, actually, this is actually more powerful than even the tunes I'm writing. And I'm not saying that to boast. I just had never done that side of the coin, if that makes sense. Prior to that, I was trying to be really pretty and be this dancer, and it was like somehow I just wasn't cutting it. And then suddenly, I was realizing I was getting this attention in a different way of making people smile and stuff like that, which was great. But then after that, I got a job working for Air Tours Holidays and Thompson Holidays as well. And I then lived in Cyprus, Greece, Spain, and Africa. And I was a double act with Alison Hammond. This morning. So we worked together in Tunisia. Were we a double act? Well, she was actually officially my boss, but there was like 3 entertainers, but we worked. She's still a really, really good friend of mine. But yeah, I got to really home in. I didn't realize how important those years were, because I was on a mic all the time, every day, all day. And you're getting heckles, you're getting all that. And so much more powerful in my eyes than going to a stage school or something like that, where you would have been taught. And also I was quite unteachable. I think I'm one of those, I've not been diagnosed, but I probably am ADHD, and it's like, I kind of think that was really, really important. But then after that, I'm literally giving you my life story, but I should really be.
This is what we want. This is what we're here for. To hear.
Keep talking, mate. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Really? I don't want to. Yeah, okay. No.
Yes, he says, turning to look at his notes as he moves on to the next chapter.
Now, in 2001, I went to work on the cruise ships for a bit as an entertainer as well. But I remember when I was on the cruise ships, which is weird because it was a great gig I had, and I worked with some really lovely people. My arrogance level was just through the roof because I'd had a hit record in Germany. But then I'd also been dropped by RCA Records in Europe. And I think my ego was very, ego is a weird thing, because it's really, ego is actually you feeling very sensitive, actually, more than anything, isn't it? I think there's a big difference between confidence and arrogance. But I remember I was working on the ships and I just thought I was far too good to be there as an entertainer. But I was going around the Bahamas and Belize and Mexico. It was a really dream gig, and I should have really but I suppose you're young and you don't realize what's given to you until sometimes much later in life. But then after that, I left the ships and then I moved to Los Angeles. I just had it in my heart. And I was in a church again, and I just sensed really strongly, just go to Los Angeles, get out of England, just go, get away from Europe. And it was the most amazing thing to be in LA, because Los Angeles, there's a piece of cheese right there, and everyone is fighting for that piece of cheese. It is a really difficult hustle. And I did a lot of acting out there, but I'm not a great actor. I wasn't phenomenal at learning lines and stuff like that. I was good if they let me ad lib, but none of the films. Well, the Zookeeper actually did get signed and did really, really well. But I then also worked behind the scenes in production. So I worked on Making the Band with P. Diddy. Yeah. I worked on I Want to Be a Superhero with Stan Lee, Marvel Comics. Worked on Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, I met Stan Lee a lot. He was lovely. Such a nice guy. Really, for someone, the thing is, he couldn't have been bigger than he was, and couldn't have been nicer. And it's that is an example when sometimes you could be in a small town somewhere and you've got a club owner that thinks they're the most amazing, or an estate agent or something, and they think they're the most amazing thing going. And then you sit there with someone like Stan Lee, who created all this stuff and was nothing but a gentleman. And you kind of go, okay, you can learn from this. You really got to learn from this. But I also worked on The Apprentice in America.
Was that with Mr. Trump?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. President of 2024. Did I just say that? No, I don't think did I?
You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Alan's got the insider.
I don't think you're risking too much if you say that. To be honest, it's just a scary thought. What I mean, probably you talk about big people and big egos. I mean, you can't get a bigger ego than that man. What is he like? I mean,
well, that's the interesting thing. I think it's bravado, because I used to see him arrive every day. So I was working in production, so I was behind the scenes. He probably wouldn't remember me. Well, he might do, who knows? But I met him every day for 2 months, and I hate to say I really liked him. And I know it offends people when I say that, but I genuinely thought, he was a gentleman. He had time for everyone, so there was no. And I know you guys have met. I mean, you don't need to name anybody, but I bet you both have met somewhat celebrities, C-list celebrities that have been egotistical, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have. And sometimes people weren't that. But Trump was actually, he came in, he made time for everybody. No, he didn't. He wasn't running for government at that point. So he didn't need to be that nice. And I worked with a lot of other celebs that you did think weren't that nice. And he wasn't really that important at the time. I mean, he was a TV star, Rialto. He wasn't even political at the time. But I liked the way he took direction from the cameraman. It's only a little thing, but I remember the cameraman must have been about 27, a bit like you with me here right now. And if I did something silly and you said, move to the right, move to the left, move to the, and I remember the cameraman saying to him, that wasn't very good, Donald, do it again. And you'd imagine Trump now, the Trump we know now, you'd imagine him going, get him out, fire that guy, how dare you. But I remember Trump just going, okay, no problem, we'll do it again. We'll do it till it's done right. And so he was taking direction. But also what I liked as well is his ex-wife was on set a lot. And he was really good to his ex-wife. Now, people might say, well, it's his ex-wife, he should be nice to her. I know a lot of real estate guys in the south coast of England that are not good to their ex-wives. You know what I mean? I know a lot of them, and Trump wasn't, and I like the way he made his kids work as well. They definitely weren't given a golden ticket. But you wouldn't be able to have a beer with him, Sam. That's the problem. He doesn't drink.
Really? Wow.
Doesn't drink at all. No.
Intriguing.
Well, his brother died of alcoholism, so I think it put him off alcohol for life.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
But we meet these people throughout our careers and throughout our lives, and an opinion you can have of someone and the way that they are when you get to experience that can be immensely different to perhaps a public persona for someone in the industry or someone in the public eye. So everyone has different experiences with people, I think, and you can't be quick to judge. I mean, there are things that have happened that we will never know the full truth about most things that we see in the media. The media will blow things
100%. And 100%. I couldn't agree with you more.
Never fully judge, but it's nice to know that regardless of how they might be seen by the majority, that some people have made a good influence on other people. So but the problem is I probably would meet Adolf Hitler and say he was nice. That's the problem. I get on with everybody. Let's steer away from
isn't he nice, Charles Manson?
Yeah, let's steer away from murderers and dictators and real kind of bad people. Let's go to the elephant in the room, or something that of course we have mentioned, but Britain's Got Talent. Now, we were lucky enough to have Tony Rudd on the show many moons ago, another semi-finalist, and we have to put in that not just appeared on Britain's Got Talent, but you are a semi-finalist on Britain's Got Talent.
So is he. Yeah, he was good, wasn't he, as well? Tony Rudd.
Good guy.
And he is good. He's been on the circuit for years and he deserves everything that comes his way. He's a gentleman as well. Yeah,
exactly that. But my question is, how did you make that decision. So obviously you said you didn't set out to be a DJ initially, but your persona and your love for music and performance and entertainment all sort of came together, and particularly with Shake Your Knees, that sort of, I think, led into you DJing a lot more. At what point did you go, do you know what? This should be on a talent show. What made that sort of decision in your mind?
Well, so when I was in LA for 5.5 years, and during that time I did DJ there. But it was one of maybe 6 things that I was doing, because I was acting, I was presenting, I was working in production. I did a lot of warm up for TV shows. So, well, not that. I worked on American Gladiator as a warm up, but right there it was like, I remember in the last couple of weeks now I had a visa problem, so I had to come home. But I didn't want to come home, because the one thing about LA is it is electric. Have you done time out there?
I haven't. No,
I haven't spent
not
appreciable time in LA. No, I know what it's like. I mean, people say exactly the same thing. It bites you. It becomes a drug, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it also exhausts you, because that is a really heavy mountain to climb in Los Angeles, and also you'll suddenly see Matthew McConaughey over the street, or you'll see, and I'm not saying that to boast, but you'll suddenly see Leonardo DiCaprio, and you realise how normal they are. And actually, they're just doing their thing and still hustling for the next gig. I mean, I'm sure those two aren't quite like that, but if you know what I mean, they've still got work. They're not relaxed. They're not thinking, oh, it's done. They're very much like still climbing. And I do remember I had a family situation happen, so I had to come back to England, and then I had trouble with my visa getting back into the States, and ended up having no other option but to come back to Bournemouth at the age of 32 after all that experience. And I was like, what do I do here? What am I going to do in this town? I grew up here, left when I was 20, and I had nothing in Bournemouth. But the one thing I could do in Bournemouth was book a DJ gig. So that was cool. And there was also local radio. And weirdly, I'm now recording a show that I syndicate all over the world, actually, to lots of other stations around the world. But I do that from a station that I was at when I first got back from there. But it was like, I then did get lots of DJ jobs, and a guy called Martin the Hat, who's locally, like quite a legend locally here in Bournemouth, and another guy called James Bronson, who's since passed away. But I remember they said they just ended up booking me loads of gigs, and I really wasn't that astute on how to DJ at the time. I could produce music, weirdly. I could sit in a studio and produce songs, and I could perform, because I did loads of stand-up in my 20s, so I was an entertainer, so I had that. And I remember for the first year or so DJing that I was trying to do the serious DJing, and then I remember just having a day going, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to play some Wham, I'm going to play some Depeche Mode, and also then I realized, with the mic, I can actually point people out and create a vibe here that is really, really exciting.
Yeah.
So cut to the elephant in the room, like you said. I actually auditioned for Britain's Got Talent when I first came back from LA, and I never got past the T-boy, because I was going in there as a serious DJ.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to know. They did not want to know that guy. I wasn't smiling. I was like, yeah, right, this is a good mix. And nope. And then I went again the next year and livened it up a touch, and I actually did that song, Shake the Knees, and no, once again, didn't work. And then I remember I'd been living in Dubai for a while, so I was then suddenly booking gigs in Dubai to DJ for New Year's. And I had a fiance in Manchester at the time, so I had to come back there. And I remember things were, once again, a little bit ups and downs. And I realised the people that are getting the main gigs at the time was Danny Dyer. And he couldn't DJ for toffee. But at the same time, he was a name. And it was like all these guys from Towie and all these places, they're all like, they're coming in and they've got someone else pressing the buttons for them, and they just go, all right, which is amazing. And God bless them, I would do the gig as well if I was them. But I kind of just thought, right, if I can get some TV exposure, and then it hit me to go on Britain's Got Talent and be a bit of a Wally. And at the time, I'd just got in with a local station called Radio Wimborne, and I thought, well, we'll do it that I've written this So I wrote a couple of novelty records. I did the Model Pose song.
Yeah.
And then we did the Shake. They wanted me to do Shake the Knees, but I've got another story about that later if you want to hear it. But because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it at all, Shake the Knees. But the producers on BGT were very naughty because they do, you know, they are. I'm sure you've been told this before, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You're like, that's not good. That's not good what you did. But I'm still grateful to have done it, and it's amazing to have been on there. But yeah, I eventually then went back, and it was like a real destiny thing as well, because I didn't realise most people that get on the show, especially in the semi-finals, they never audition at the beginning. It's the case that they've then usually got private agents that will stick them in, and I didn't realise any of that. And I remember it was brilliant. I went in and I thought, well, I'm going to bring a full production. So I went to Birmingham, stayed in a Holiday Inn for the night, or Premier Inn, or one of those. And I went in the next day in a taxi and brought 2 massive speakers with me and made sure that the production had to help me set up, which then got me to the front of the line. And then they remembered me, and immediately I remember I did model pose, and they went, okay, you're through. Okay, you're through. You're through. You're through. And suddenly it was like, then there was a phone interview, then there was another interview, then there was a load of and then they just said, okay, you're meeting Simon and the judges on January the 14th, which, oh, actually, hang on, what's the date today?
It's the 16th. It's nearly the day. Yeah.
No. Yeah, so it was 10 years ago and 2 days. That's
wow.
Yeah, so, and it was without a doubt life-changing, but I do remember they were very naughty because they, first off, they messed with my DJ gear on the stage. And so that when I came out and pressed my tune ready to go, it was the wrong tune. If you remember it.
I do remember that happening, yeah.
I was like, I knew I had the cameras on me everywhere. Simon's grinning like a Cheshire cat. We've got you. And I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna make that a bit now. I'll just try and make that into a bit. But they want to see you crumble. They want to see you. It's really not. I couldn't have done that when I was 17. I would have been mortified afterwards because it was so clear. Oh, wow, it is you against the production here. That's what this is. And they're so nice to you that you even think, oh, they really like me. They're my friends. You know, they really, really like me, these guys at Britain's Got Talent, the producers and the car. Oh, that's really nice. But I do remember then we did it through, and then David Walliams said, can we do it again? And he got the whole audience. And I went, but Simon, you've already buzzed me. He goes, Alan, it's a game. Just get on with it. And I was like, oh. So it was clearly Simon that had actually put me through to the semi-finals, despite him saying that but do you know what's funny? Then we went to another thing where it was like a Big Brother thing where they're filming you all day. And that was really cool. I mean, I'm so grateful for the experience. And actually, the year later, I did the German one, which was somewhat similar, but didn't quite work out as well. But the German one wasn't even remotely as good. But it's called Das Supertalent. Well, my family's from Germany. I haven't actually left that bit out, haven't I? I pretty much learned English when I was like 3 or 4. So I was late in German was my first language. So, but yeah, it was weird. So I went over to Germany, and that's why I had the deals in Germany and stuff like that as well. But it was so bizarre. So I got then to the semi-finals, and they kept saying to me, "Oh, do Shake the Knees," which was my song that I did in Germany years ago. And I said, "Oh, it's rubbish. I don't want to do Shake the Knees." And they kept saying, "Go on, Simon." And they knew I was and I am a massive fan of Simon Cowell. I do think he's phenomenal with what he's achieved with what he is, and he has got magic. There is a certain magic about him. And they kept saying, and they obviously knew from my outtake interviews that I was a big Simon fan. And they said, Simon really wants you to do Shake the Knees. I said, does he? Well, then I'll do it. If Simon wants to do it, definitely. So I did it, and then on the day of, I remember we did 3 rehearsals. And even the rehearsals bit, you kind of go, it's funny how the people that won in the rehearsals are the same people that got through in the actual live show. Strange, that. Anyway, but I remember being on the stage just ready to go with the camera going, and Simon looked, and I literally saw Simon go to Alicia and say, you liked him last time, you don't like him this time. I'm writing, because I wasn't coming out the curtain, I was ready to go. And if you watch it back, you can see that, you know, Alicia's acting like she's really angry about something. And it's like, even if you really, really hated the song, you wouldn't hate it that
much.
But it was like she really got into character because Simon had just told her to. And then she said to Amanda, "You quite like it, you're not sure. David, you love it, get up and dance." Bam! That's exactly what happened. But he did the same. He did the same in the audition where he goes, you love it, I hate it. Get up, guys. Boom. But I mean, what a power, man. I mean, that's some power there. Wouldn't want to be one of those judges, though. Bit of a gopher, but nevertheless, I'm the one in front of them. So who is the real gopher?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the one that chose to be in the limelight with Britain's Got Talent. But that aside, Alan, it's been incredible hearing about your travels and your work in the four corners of the globe, and I mean, we could feel.
Did you say my travels or my troubles?
Both, mate. I think is probably accurate.
And actually, look, I don't want to speak any negativity on BGT. It's still my favourite talent show on, and I'm not saying that because I was on it. I still think it's the one that matters the most. You know, actually, when you really look at it, it's the only one where stars are still coming out of, aren't they?
Exactly.
Good point. Well made. Yeah.
We could fill hours and hours chatting about, because we haven't even touched on sort of more recent times and things. So will you, and we're going to nail you down to this now, will you come back on the show another time, sometime in the future, and talk some more? Can we get you to agree to that now before?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there we go.
Got it.
But because I know you're an incredibly busy man, and we've got to finish this one up for now before episode 2 of Allan Turner-Ward.
Yes, I get 2 episodes. I'm going to be the first one that gets 2 episodes on Drew.
Oh, you might be fighting some others. There are others. Come back.
I thought we'll see. Be the first
We'll see. Cross your fingers. Who knows? You might get that call. You might get 4 buzzers. Who knows?
4 buzzers. 4 yeses. 4 yeses, please. 3 yeses will do. Yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. Before you disappear, can you leave us with not that your stories so far haven't been entertaining or crazy or whatever, but have you got something that you dine out on? Something we love to leave our audience with, a final sort of note from our guests about something mad or something crazy or some story that they'll remember forever. Have you got something about your career that just sums that up for us?
I'm trying to decide between 2. Can I just tell 2 very quickly? And
if they're quick, you absolutely can.
Okay, and you know me, I don't talk much. Right, so when I was 24, number 1 on German MTV, I thought I was huge, absolutely huge. But like I said before, the song was a lot bigger than me. But I remember and it was before the internet, so no YouTube. You couldn't say to your friends, just look it up. You couldn't. But I then flew to Germany to go on these TV shows, and I remember I had my shades on, put my baseball cap on, I thought, it's going to kick off now. And surely enough, I land at Hamburg airport, and no one's noticing me. No one at all. Not a soul. Nobody. I mean, literally, I'm even walking up to people hoping someone's going to notice me somewhere. And then I suddenly see Peter Andre there, who was in the prime, and he had no baseball cap on, no sunglasses or anything. And then I remember he had everyone around him. But then just one dude came up to me and said, "Oh, I saw you on TV on Tuesday." But he wasn't even pleased. He just went, "I saw you on TV Tuesday." So I went, "Yes, it was me, brother," because I saw that Peter Andre was over there. I was like, "Yeah." And I pulled him in and gave him this massive hug. I said, "It's such a pleasure to meet you. What's your name?" And he's just going, "Yeah, all right, my name's Sam. Leave me alone."
The fickleness of fame, clearly.
Yeah, that coolness of it. No, I wasn't famous at all. The song did really well, but I mean, really, I didn't. It wasn't like I expected. Let's put it that way. I was not a pop star. But so my other one. So we've talked a lot about Britain's Got Talent, and I've told you how naughty Simon is, like with the production, but also how much I respect how he's in charge of all this nonsense. But if you watch the semi-finals, he is smiling all the way through on my performance, and even calls me a fantastic plonker. He goes, "You really fascinate me. You're a fantastic player." So it completely and utterly annihilates me on that stage. And I'm like absolutely defeated. And I'm in my dressing room, and this stunning woman comes in, and she goes, "Hi, Simon sent me to see you." I went, "What?" And she goes, "He's just told me to tell you that he thinks you're really charismatic and can see you going a long way in life." I went, well, why the fuck didn't he say that on air?
Oh,
Excuse my French.
no, and that
no, it's brilliant, brilliant.
ATW is the way we end an episode. That is the kind of story that just you can tell that forever, and it's just so entertaining. And that, I guess, it sums you up. You are the entertainer through and through. It doesn't matter if it's a story about something positive or just an experience, but it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. So a massive thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm gutted I haven't found out more about you, but you'll be on my show, and then I'll find out a bit more about you guys. So
exactly, we're going to return the favour. So
I look forward to it. I really do. I've heard a lot of great things about you, and I love your show. So yeah,
thank you. I've got to say one thing. Throughout,
anything you like.
You are the only guest we've had on so far who has not sat down and relaxed. You have been on your feet, true DJ style, throughout the show, which is brilliant. So, which leads me on to, obviously, someone who does not stand still ever. What have you got coming up? What is next for where are you going? What are you doing next? We'll splash your socials all over the place so people can catch up with you. But what's happening next? What I mean, apart from having us on your show.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a little production company, so I produced and hosted my own TV show about 4 years ago, pilot, but it was before the pandemic. So I'm still I've been trying to sell it to the networks for ages. It's tough, isn't it? But it could be clicking soon. I feel I'm getting some heat on it. The great thing about the industry kind of falling down is to get to the guy that smokes the cigar behind the counter is quite easy now. I get back to the hustle. You've always got to be a hustler. And it's like you can knock those doors down so much easier now than you could in the 90s. You know what I mean? It's a really good time. So I'm doing that. I've got my radio show, which I syndicate to numerous other stations. It's on 90.1 Hope FM. I'm on tonight between 7 and 9 every Tuesday, but then it's out as a podcast. And I am just gigging all the way. All the one brilliant thing since VGT, 10 years it's been, I think I can count on one hand the amount of weekends I've had off.
Amazing.
Since that show. I mean, but my mother did say to me when I was on the show afterwards, my mother's very German. She did say, you need to be really good at every gig you do now because you are so shit on the show.
Thanks, Mum.
Wow. Alan, this has been one gig that you've been absolutely storming on. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah. It's been brilliant. Absolutely. And we will get you back.
When you just said it looks like during lockdown, not going to say the word, but lockdown, it was amazing. I was gigging in loads of pubs, and then I just thought, what am I going to do? And I set up these live streams on Facebook and Twitch TV. So my apartment here in Bournemouth, Westbourne, Bournemouth, this was my booth. And this is the first time I've set it all up again since then. So thank you.
Well, we're right here. This is the trouble.
It's worth it.
Brilliant. Honoured that you've come on the show. Again, a massive, massive thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been enjoying Mr. Allan Turner-Ward, who will be back in the very near future. Thank you, mate. Take care.
Take care.
God bless. God bless. Thank you so much. God bless. Cheers.
And there he goes, Sam. I mean, the whirlwind, the tornado that is Allan Turner-Ward. I mean, we've got to get him back because, I mean, there obviously is so much more to be had out of that one. But I mean, what a lovely guy, and so much,
brilliant, and so much. You can just see the passion for what he does. I mean, every person we have on loves their job, and that's clear to see. But he's just a ball of energy, and has put that into his work and has done so many different things. And as you said, he didn't sit down; he was stood up through the whole show.
Yeah.
Yes, no, brilliant to have him on. So, Alan, thank you so much again, and I'm sure all our listeners and viewers will echo what we're saying. That was just highly, highly entertaining, an entertainer through and through. So,
and of course, everyone do take a listen to his show and his podcast. I mean, we'll try and get a little appearance on there, maybe. Sam, you never know. Try and get ourselves muscle in, But in the meantime, of course, we're back next week to just you and me, mate.
Yeah, slightly calmer, I think, because we don't we don't exude the energy as much as the lovely Alan, but yeah, no, there's plenty to talk about, plenty for us to delve into, yeah, I mean, next week's episode 3, mate. The season's already running away with us.
I know, it's extraordinary. Do you think we should do it standing up?
No.
No, all right then, fair enough.
I don't know what else you want me to say to that one, mate.
No, I'm so glad you said that. I was really hoping you would go. No, and you came out there. So yeah. Sitting still, gently.
And you'll notice what I didn't say, mate, is aren't you standing up already? Which would have been a really mean thing to kind of point to the fact that you are vertically challenged. And
Sam, I didn't even think that, because, you know, apart from all the moments that you ripped the shit out of me, I actually think you're a very kind, steady, lovely guy. Well, now you owe me money.
I was about to say where you going with this, but I didn't need to, because
there you go.
But so on that note, cheers to you, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Lovely Alan, who will have on again to tell more crazy stories in the future. Everyone else, join just me and him next week, and we'll do what we do best. See you later, everyone. Ta-da.
Have a lovely week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.